we present to you local and international newspaper headlines for the day with in-depth analysis from seasoned professionals. Start your day the right way on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
And we're here to bring you the headlines across the papers this morning. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. It's the 21st of January. Welcome to the show. We're streaming live right now on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. You can check us out right now. And you can watch our lovely faces in the studio, as well as leave us your comments on the headlines that jump at you from the front pages. We have here on the table The Guardian, the Daily Independent newspaper is also on my side, The Punch newspaper, and the Daily Sun.
The Nation is here. Vanguard newspaper is also here. Daily Trust is here as well. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
I'm Wemimo Adewuni. Bola Olajide joins us. Good morning, Bola.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Are you ready?
I am. Are you?
I'm so ready because I've not looked at the papers in a while. So let's see what they're talking about. To the headache and the heartaches. But hey, let's kickstart. Our first story coming in from The Guardian today. Supreme Court saved APC from major blow. Put those in inverted commas, says Buhari. There are riders on this one: Ganduje, Mohammed, Tambuwal, Lalong, Lord rulings. PDP restates rejection of verdict in Imo and protest. Court dismisses Akpoti's suit against Yaya Bello. All of this you can find on the front page of The Guardian. There's also, of course, that stories across all the papers today. Supreme Court affirms elections of Ganduje, Tambuwal, Lalong and Mohammed. Buhari congratulates APC, Ganduje, Lalong. Party queries Supreme Court's decision on Sokoto, asks security agencies to quell PDP protests. Why can't they protest? That's on the Daily Independent. From the Punch newspaper, Supreme Court affirms Ganduje, Lalong, Tambuwal, Mohammed's elections. Losing Kano, Plateau would have been a major blow, says Buhari. Victoria's governors extend olive branch to opponents. Also from the Punch, and it's the biggest story on the Daily Sun, as Supreme Court decides Gube polls, tension in Adamawa, Benue over Fintiri, Autumn's fate. Apex Court affirms Tambuwal, Ganduje, Mohammed's election. This is right here on the Daily Sun newspaper.
It's here on the front page of the Nation newspaper as well. No upsets as Lalong, Mohammed, Ganduje, Tambuwal retain seats. Rider Apex Court affirms elections. It's the front page of the Nation newspaper. Similar headline on the front page of Vanguard and Daily Trust. Well, this would have been the biggest blow ever to the APC, as rightly alluded to by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Oh, well, definitely.
Any of the parties it would have been. Huh?
Well, Kano is a major one,
right,
for the party. And if it had lost Kano, it would have been a major blow. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But it's also not about blow to one party or the other. It's about what is fair, what is right, what is just. It's very difficult under the present conditions to determine to change to upturn an election. The burden
recently
of evidence required is tough. When you say something is tough, it doesn't mean it cannot be done.
Right.
So in extreme cases, you still have, if you have one in, how many have been overturned? That's the question.
In fact, the only one overturned, people still are frowning. I hear there are protests over it.
You say there are protests over it. It shows the extent of difficulty, the burden of proof to turn those things around is weighty.
And most times the party trying to overturn would need the support of INEC. I read an article by Barrister Monday Obani on that election obtained by the Supreme Court, and actually what the Supreme Court asked them to do, or the tribunal asked them to do, is to bring all the electoral officers in that ward to come present their results. That's pretty burdensome. So
it also goes a bit beyond that as well. I think in that election that was upturned, INEC have some questions to answer.
Yeah, right. I believe so.
Because the only thing, or apparently the major thing that the Supreme Court had to determine was were those excluded votes lawfully excluded? Once they determined that, the rest was arithmetic.
Right.
But somehow, some argue that the excluded votes in quotes exceeded the number of registered voters.
Maybe
so.
it
Where did that come from?
Maybe it does. But you see, when you are excluded or you're cancelling a vote, it doesn't mean you shouldn't still have a record of what you canceled.
Absolutely.
I learned that INEC could not even say this is the record, this is it. It was the complainant who had the records of what was cancelled.
Right.
So INEC obviously, in
Has
my opinion, has
questions.
not done well.
But we
in that-
remember
in that
what
particular
happened in
party.
Kano. Kano
Even-
was pretty violent in that election. And, I mean, the governor-elect retains the seat.
Kano was violent. According to what the lawyers have been saying, it's easier where the margin is small, and you can say that it is because of this 1 and 2 violent sports that what happened. So they
Right.
say, okay, cancel those and go and do a rerun. Where the gap is wide, for you to begin to substantiate the fact that it is those places where there was violence that are counted for your losing is a challenging issue
Well,
from the point of law.
Another issue, Igbola, is the process entirely, because it's quite sad that we get to waste money, time, resources post-election.
9 months after election.
It's unacceptable by all standards you can think of in the world. And we have a electoral amendment bill in front on the table of the president. He's yet to sign this.
It's not on the table of the president.
Where is it again?
He has returned
It's
it.
returned
He
it.
made his comment about the issues he had with it, and he has sent it back to them. So it is for National Assembly to pick it up from where it is, address those issues, and let's have that law in place well. In fact, if you can have it before a do election, wouldn't it be beautiful?
It will.
Right.
Oh,
we can-
how beautiful it will be. I'm just imagining it will be beautiful.
That's
will.
the reality.
Absolutely.
Right. Sad story across the papers today. Death toll in Lagos. Pipeline fire hits 5. And I almost have, what's it called? PSTD. Traumatic.
Trauma.
Okay, PTSD.
PTSD, thank
Okay.
you. Reading these stories yesterday, because I've done reports on Isheri Diamond Estate Pipeline. I mean, the pipeline over there, their issues have been almost 26 years. And I personally have reached out to the NNPC on this matter over and over again. Zero response. Here again, fire.
What were you asking an NPC to do in Europe?
So the pipeline vandalism, they need to protect the pipelines, which they don't. When they do, because I saw the very point of the vandalism. It's just a hole. Every time the community reports that issue, they send an operative. They take bamboo wood and just
close the hole.
put it there. So when those guys are ready to continue vandalizing,
remove.
they just come. And the community guys, I mean, when I went there, I could see fear in their faces. Quickly, they were phoning themselves. Like, who's in this? They're so afraid. They can't open their windows. The air is bad. Their water has been bad for 26 full years. So I can imagine what these people who live at long pipelines.
Right.
Well, some questions have been raised as to whether people should even be allowed to live along the pipeline.
The question is, who got there first?
If who got there first will not invalidate the fact that if people are not meant to live there, you relocate them and compensate
Yeah.
them.
Right.
Yeah,
know.
because there is pipeline rights of way which should be maintained.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there seems to be some conspiracy as well. Because you need to ask yourself, this is a major artery for conveying this fuel. And there are vandalism all, and attention are constantly being pointed at this thing, and they still continue. What exactly, how many kilometers is this stretch of Isheri, for example?
Right.
So why can't we find a solution to it?
Our reporter who was there yesterday, who spoke with residents there, you could literally hear them, crying, and they were complaining that security operatives are in cahoots with these vandals because they're always there when these guys come to work.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come with, arms and ammunition, and the security guys will just stay there. They would not do anything. And
It
they're
appears
calling
that
on
they
the
are paid.
phone.
And some come in convoys.
Yeah.
And you see, because the security men are meant to be there, for you to be able to do what you need to do, then the security men also have to be in cahoots. There's no doubt about that.
So who's
it's
asking them the
It's a
question?
conspiracy.
Why are they
What
not
is going on
answering
there?
some questions? One of the things I also discovered in doing those reports, not one, not two, is that fuel does not pass through the pipeline all the time. There's a time they open from Atlas
And
Cove to
apparently they
Mosul.
know.
So how do they know when fuel will be passing through the pipeline? So there is, I mean, it
There's
looks, it
a
appears-
grand conspiracy, and I think for a responsible government, the agency that has responsibility for this,
NNPC.
It's the NNPC. Now,
Yeah.
let me tell you
it's tiring.
This is what
to know that we're still on this.
What Mele Kyari said yesterday was that he was urging the communities to cooperate with security operatives, and I'm thinking there's a disconnect here. Perhaps it doesn't know that security, the communities, they have no say in this at all.
You see, he will have spoken based on what he was told. He needs to do a management by walking around. Speak to the ground people, not what your direct report tells
Right.
you.
I don't believe
You're
he doesn't know.
You're not getting the
No,
full
it's possible.
information. It's
How?
possible.
It's actually possible.
Does it?
How?
does
Am I NNPC? Am I a director in NNPC? Do I know?
It's
Is
actually
there a
possible.
Nigerian that
when
doesn't
you
know?
when you did your report,
Well,
you went to the grassroots. You spoke with the community. You spoke with everybody. He probably relied on a report.
Exactly. What he needs to do, because we've said it here, that this is a syndicate. It's a syndicated crime.
yes.
So
It
it's
is.
possible that these people that are in charge of these things will protect their interests.
Well, you're right.
They will.
You're right. Because
So
many
it's
times
not for him to unveil what
Right.
exactly is going on and deal with it. It's been there for so long, and we can't continue to.
you guys
No,
have lit
we
a bulb
can't.
on my head because many times you see the NNPC come to these communities to hold meetings with them, and the community have works with. They have a big compendium of these meetings. They probably have a different report in their paper. Oh my goodness!
It's a huge and shameful scam.
It is.
that we need to
Unfortunately,
deal
we lost lives, houses. I heard over 150 people have been displaced right now.
Right.
with. Because we lost life, we can't even talk about the animals. I saw a burnt animal
I can't
as part of that,
imagine.
and the
It's
sight
gruesome.
alone is gruesome.
It's gruesome.
It's sad. It's really sad. Let's quickly move on to another interesting story this morning. And it's about the oil again, although not downstream now. Malibu EFCC files 42 charges against Adoke. Trial of ex-AGF others begin. So we're still here. It's on the front page of the Nation newspaper. That particular report is here also on the front page of okay, I think that's what I've got here as regards that story, Malibu.
At least that would be a way to get on with Adoke and all the issues, from arrest outside of the country, bring him back to the country,
Right.
Keep him under some form of arrest. But now we can actually prosecute.
There are
we're not
other-
excited about 42 charges.
Charges.
It's a cliche.
Why is the focus on Adoke? Yes, is the former AG, but then there are other people. Malibu is a big scam. In other countries involved, in Italy, in Netherlands, they've secured convictions. Why are we still at this juncture here? Why the focus
Well-
on him alone? There are others involved.
And-
There are loads of others involved that this current administration, perhaps I'm not privy to that information.
That is easy to answer that. What they will tell you is that is the one for which they have evidences. You don't go to prosecution without the right level of evidence. You're just wasting your time. So I can say, okay,
Like we've
although
done many times.
there were 10 people involved, but for this particular
Many.
one,
Yeah.
I have all what I require to prosecute him.
I
So I'm
hope
going
they, I
after
hope
him.
they do.
I hope.
And in the course of the
I really do.
prosecution, you
I hope.
never know what might also happen that will enable them to be able to pick
for
one
a
or two other
crime, well, alleged crime as big as Malibu.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the only
It's not
evidence they
a
have.
alleged crime, some crime. It was
Is it as in
crime.
Or maybe they're doing catch one and then you catch all. So
Maybe. So in the course of the prosecution, let's see what happens. Maybe there will be revelations. And
can't wait to hear them. I can just imagine who would be involved in this, but it's a shame, absolutely. And we hope the EFCC can prosecute this with thorough evidence. Amoteku is still all over the front pages. Guys, I tried to rest during my leave, but no, Amoteku. And I saw people arguing, what kind of animal is Amoteku? Is Amoteku going away? Doesn't look like it. On the front page of the Nation, Amotekun, a master stroke for this time. There's an editorial by The Guardian. You might want to read it. Amotekun, a master stroke for this time. Go check it out on The Guardian. It's also on The Punch. Amotekun has made restructuring inevitable, says Dixon. Looks like every other part of the country are getting ideas now, right?
The Amotekun is not about to go away.
There's a protest happening today, by the way.
Massive protest. Nigeria Info is covering for you. You can be sure.
That's good. Let's see how that goes.
There, right.
But you see, Amotekun, like I said in one discussion earlier this week, that look, if it was something we can put to vote, the vote will embarrass the central government.
Right.
Because it will suddenly be amazed at how much people want this scheme to stay. And it's a strong message as to the confidence of the people in the capacity of the government to protect them. That is on one side. On the other side, I'm also worried about the fact that if we're not careful, Amotekun might just become something symbolic that will never really take off. And that is because in a unitary system, it is actually difficult to fight the federal government. Now, if you're going to do it, you probably will need to do it via the courts. Nobody is going to court right now. Maybe they are, but I've not read it in the papers that someone has gone to the court to do it. So if the federal government in a unitary government said something is illegal, just flash back and think about all the things that the federal government has said is illegal. They may not die, they will be there, but they never thrive.
My biggest worry, and I don't know if I'm just asking for too much, but I expected to see a website that details the operations of Amotekun. I've not seen that. I've seen a lot of talk. What exactly? How will it function?
Thank you for bringing that up.
There isn't a place I can go to and understand it.
How it works. You see, you can't even build something on nothing. The route is to establish first that this can be done legally, and it has been done legally. When you now have a basis, you can build on it. We have to now talk about the modus operandi. How will it work? We have to even douse all the fears of. There are a lot of fears, and come off it. Some of these fears are genuine.
They are.
Can Amotekun become a political tool? It's a genuine fear.
Right.
Can Amotekun be abused? It can be abused.
But we've had arguments for and against state policing, and somehow many people say, let's have it anyway. So here we go.
So that is what I'm saying. Can we just clear this legality part of things and address the other issues? People are even saying, even the state government, are they required to pass laws for this? Have those laws in those states been passed?
No, they haven't.
No,
they haven't.
But are they required to pass any law? I don't think so.
I was speaking.
Someone said, I'm not a lawyer.
On the morning Crossfire yesterday, we had Dennis Amakri, former DSS director, on the show, and he said that it's illegal currently. The first step for the state governors to do, he was suggesting that the first step is to try and domesticate, have laws in their respective states to give room for Amotekun in their respective states, then work together in synergy. That way, it doesn't look like, that way it's naturally a neighborhood watch of some sort. Then they work in synergy to protect their boundaries and their territories. That way, it doesn't look as regional.
As if you're taking up a defense.
Because according to him, in the Constitution, there is no region in Nigeria. Nigeria is in a country. There is no region being specified that this is a region, that is a region. So they cannot have a regional police committee.
You see the complexities of the matter.
Right.
It requires that we actually go and sort things out in the court.
Right.
It's the court that is the only authorized body. Forget about the fact that there are brilliant lawyers, seasoned lawyers, experienced lawyers who are winning on this matter. They are not the due authority to interpret the law.
Right.
It is the court. Why don't we just go to the court, have this sorted out, and this novel idea might just be a transformational one at the end of the day.
Somehow, I think it's going to be messy, but it's not going anywhere. That's what I personally think.
It's not going anywhere, and that's why I said we might just be stuck with it. It's neither here nor there. It's not taking off. It's not thriving. It's not dying. It's just there.
just hanging in the air.
Just hanging in
We're
there.
following this up for you. There's a protest happening in Lagos today at 9 a.m. Today, Pratt, our correspondent, is heading there right now. We might be able to take some updates from him.
Right.
But we have to leave before the protest
Yes,
fully
we
kicks
have
off.
to.
But
We
we'll just
have
let
to.
you know how it goes. And you can also make sure you're following our social media handles. You see videos and we'll give
pictures,
people,
live
absolutely.
updates, and you can continue the conversation there. Now, talking about protest, anger over PDP's protest against Supreme Court. So all the papers, they have this story. But you know what actually shocked me when I saw this protest about people dying because of their protest? I saw the video, and it was frightening.
Why were people dying because of a protest?
That's the golden question. So they were in trucks because they were protesting, and these pickup trucks they were driving recklessly. They
And
got
had
to
an
a,
accident.
they got to a roundabout, and the first pickup truck swerved and swerved and swerved round the roundabout and went to go and collide with the other one,
And people died.
and people.
The organizers
I
of the
heard
protest
I
should
heard
be
about
arrested.
2 or 3 people.
Is this the PDP?
Yes, the PDP protest.
It's shameful.
The video is online.
You see, what is the excitement? I thought it was a sober mood. When you're protesting, it's not something, I don't know how to put it. You want to do a non-violent protest and you go driving vehicles recklessly, wasting people's lives? You see where we are?
It's just insanity. It's
When
pure
I heard
insanity.
about the protest, I said, well, it's a good thing. People, a section of the society is annoyed. Let them vent. Let them make known what their grievances are in a non-violent way. Let it go. In fact, I expect that in those kind of protests, that even if they brought a letter, somebody will come from the government side and say, "Look, we're
receive
fair
it.
deal," and receive it. And that is what this is all about.
Interestingly, the papers don't report that the
That
people
people
died.
died.
I'm wondering,
That's why I found this strange.
It's insane.
are we sure the video
It's
is
insane.
a true video?
Oh
of what
yes, it's
happened?
there. It's there online.
So how did the papers miss it? I mean, they just talked about
it's
the.
there online.
It will be quite unfortunate if people die in that protest.
I mean,
yeah.
pretty unnecessary. Buhari meets UK PM, seeks extradition of fugitives to answer corruption charges, says things are getting better in war against insurgency. Similar to that, the president says, I won't reopen borders, he tells Ghanaian president. Quick one on this. Well,
It won't reopen it. They said it will not reopen it because there's a committee that is working on something and they're meant to report back. It's after the consideration of those committees' report that will decide to open it or not. What? Because suppose the committee says don't open it.
hey, they had better
So-
not.
Essentially, we don't know when those spots are going to be open. He also made it clear that it wasn't just about smuggling of rice and agricultural products, that there were issues of security as well, guns, proliferation of guns across the entire sub-region, and Nigeria seems to be a destination for quite a chunk of those guns. We also have drugs,
Right.
which has become
Smuggling
a
activities.
major scourge
Right.
in Nigeria. So
Right.
that those were also essential part of why the border had stayed closed. But whatever the issues are, the best thing would still be for this committee to do what they need to do. We cannot close our borders indefinitely.
I'm
Right.
sorry, my
Whatever.
mouth is open if you're watching. I'm sure some of you are wondering what's wrong
You
with
saw
this.
the vehicles, right?
I'm looking at the video right here. I mean,
Look at
oh my goodness.
it. Right.
What? Why?
Are those the people who are in the real
some
mood
people are trapped in between this. I'm
The-
guessing
the
those
truck
are the casualties.
overturned?
Overturned because there were too many people latching onto it, and then the driver was going all over. That was in Abuja.
So what they were doing was being done in excitement, not in soberness. They are
Why?
not.
But what's exciting about
What's
it?
exciting? That's the question.
Are they drunk? Could they be drunk?
There could be alcohol. There could be drugs. Are those the issues? Does it portray that protest in a good light?
Let's read some messages from WhatsApp on our way out. Wemimo, welcome. Thank you. Thank you. welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay. We have this from Daya from Lagos. It says, I do hope the PMB really meant his word by promising a serious reform in our electoral process. In fact, it will be a great legacy for him if he ensures independent candidacy is part of the reform. He says he sees this as a means of liberating Nigerians from these money bag party politics. Independent candidacy. I hope we have that sometime soon. Igor Victor says if any is castigating those who had accidents on their way to protest against the Supreme Court ruling, they would have flown to the venue. I don't understand. He said people were going to register their anger over miscarriage of justice, and someone is telling me that your sentences.
You don't register your anger by killing yourself.
By being reckless.
By being reckless.
That is not how to register your anger.
You know, I was also arguing, but seeing this video right here, no, that's not acceptable. They just kill themselves, typically.
You kill yourself. You kill other people.
Right.
What kind of protest is that?
Someone said truly protesting against Supreme Court ruling. And here, no, too long. Tinadi from Idumota, please, how many witnesses were called to confirm their claimed results in Uzodinma case? It was determined in Atiku versus Buhari. Does it mean that all the votes in the 388 polling units were for APC? Biased judges will always find a reason to give whatever verdict they want to give. Well, if your party wins, the other party won't like it.
Right.
That's the way it goes.
And vice versa.
That's the way it goes.
Let's take a comment from Facebook. Igwe Victor says, when you say it would have been a big blow to APC in Kano and the other states were taken from them, then I ask who in the first place was brain behind the Imo State result upturn. We're not too worried. It's all getting this wrong. We are happy. We are being vindicated for those who initially did not believe us that this is not a government and Nigeria isn't working. Thank you for sending that in. We appreciate your input. Jonathan Garba says, Sharif, I disagree with you. The community have a crucial role to play. They must organize themselves and make a statement once and for all. Yeah. And we've said it here.
It's not that straightforward.
That's the reason why I said what I said. Because Wemimo had done report and report. Communities have cried and cried and cried.
They've been threatened.
And nothing has changed.
I mean, the bike man, I've said this before, the bike man that took me there, I mean, he was visually almost crying. He was like, Madam, I didn't know this is where we're coming to. I wouldn't have come.
You know?
It took the ballet of the community to come with us. I said, I didn't know what we're coming. They are scared.
You're treading on dangerous path.
I tell you, it's not that easy. On Twitter, Emmanuel Hieme says, nobody died in the PDP protest. This is simply another cheapest propaganda from the camp of the APC. It says the videos were doctored. Tell me more about it. Someone is asking for the video on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Please just go online. I think it's shared by the Sahara Reporters Medium. You can find the video there and tell me what you think. But guys, let's go. When we come back, we're talking human trafficking. This is big. Guys, join us just after the break. Bola, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
We're still up on social media. Join us again. We're live just after this break. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
And I'm Sharif Quadry.